Madam City Clerk.
And we begin with item 4.1. 4.1 is a resolution commemorating National Adoption Awareness Month and saluting Black Adoption Placement and Research Center, one of 2 agencies in California that specializes in finding permanent homes for African American and other waiting children for 30 years of service to the Oakland Bay Area community. I show no speakers.
All right, so moving this item, we have moved by Councilmember McElhaney, seconded by Councilmember Schaaf, and by consensus support of the whole council.
Good evening, everyone. It is our honor to commemorate National Adoption Day and to proclaim that day as November 23rd here in the city of Oakland. We all know that there is a bit of a crisis with young people, with children finding their forever families. In the United States, there are more than 100,000 children waiting in foster care who need permanent, loving families and who may have to wait years before being adopted. National Adoption Day is a collective effort to raise awareness of the thousands of young children waiting in foster care. And it is particularly troublesome for children of color and African American youth. So this resolution is to commemorate our very own Black Adoption Research and Placement Research Center. Established in 1983, this is the 30th anniversary of the Black Adoption Research and Placement Research Center and their committed work. So, wow. This is important to me. My baby brother, Sean, some of you have met Sean, was adopted when he was brought in as foster care. He's only 2 weeks old. And is now 24, and his big sis is still looking out for him. But our family believes in adopting, and it's a long tradition, both in terms of kinship and not. So, Councilmember Schaaf.
All right, I'll read some of the resolution, and maybe you can finish it off for me. And I just want to recognize that 2 of our own elected officials here in the city of Oakland are adoptive mothers. So our city auditor, Courtney Ruby, is here with her 2 sons. Hi, guys. Oh, doesn't that carpet feel good? And can I hold that, please? And Barbara Parker, our city attorney, who is also an adoptive mother and now a proud grandmother. So we're going to read these whereases just because they're really important. They're beautifully written. November is National Adoption Awareness Month, the time during which this country focuses on the many children who are waiting for permanent homes and the vital importance of supporting public and private agencies that provide services to waiting children and help families to adopt them or offer them temporary homes. And whereas the Black Adoption Research and Placement and Research Center, BAPRAC, is that how you say it? BAPRAC, BAPRC, okay, was established in 1983, and this year marks the 30th anniversary of BAPRC's diligent and committed work providing permanent homes for waiting children. And I know we just celebrated another important 30th anniversary of ASK, a sister agency. Whereas BAPRC is a private nonprofit agency that provides services to families residing in 14 Northern California counties. Whereas BAPRC is a licensed adoption and foster family agency dedicated to recruiting permanent loving families from the community from which the disproportionate numbers of waiting children come, the African American community. And you've placed 55,218 children in permanent loving homes during your 30 years of operations. I think that deserves a round of applause.
Yes, it does.
Incredible. BAPRC places an emphasis on advocating on behalf of children with special needs who might otherwise spend their childhoods in foster care. And whereas Gloria King, who is standing right here, the agency's executive director, holds a Bachelor of Arts in Sociology and a Master's of Science in Clinical Counseling and has led the agency's mission for 23 years. And Oakland City Attorney, Barbara J. Parker, is the president of the board. And whereas there continues to be a crisis in America because hundreds of thousands of children are without permanent homes, and California leads all states with over 100,000 children in out-of-home placements, the overwhelming majority of whom are of African descent.
And whereas we must redouble our efforts to address this crisis based on these facts. Between 1983 and 2000, the number of children in foster care in California increased by over 300%. In Alameda County, 66% of the children waiting are African American. In San Francisco, 66% also waiting children are African American. And whereas older children are less likely to be adopted, 62% of the California Youth Authority are children who have been in foster care. Youth between the ages of 13 and 18 years of age comprise roughly 1/3 of foster care population, despite the fact that they represent only about 12% of the U.S. population. And the majority of the young women and girls who are victims of sex trafficking, human trafficking, prostitution on Oakland streets are in or came out of foster care. And whereas the children are the future of this nation and our world, and these beautiful children are strong, resilient treasures who will realize their great potential and make important contributions to the world, especially if they have stable, nurturing families. And whereas the number of children entering the system continues to grow at an alarming rate, many more qualified families are urgently needed. So therefore, be it resolved that the City of Oakland commemorates National Adoption Awareness Month, and be it further resolved that the City of Oakland and the Oakland City Council salute and applaud the Black Adoption Placement and Research Center for the vital work it has performed for 30 years, providing permanent homes for waiting children. And be it further resolved that the City of Oakland declares November 23rd as Black Adoption Placement and Research Center Day in the agency's 30th anniversary. Congratulations, Gloria.
I just want to thank the council members, and it's been a pleasure to serve such an important cause. While the statistics remain high, we make a difference. Every day, a family steps forward and says yes to one of our children. Thank you.
I'm Courtney Ruby, and I'm the city auditor. And first, I want to acknowledge City Attorney Barbara Parker for her incredible leadership of President of Black Adoption Placement and Research Center and your work in serving our children. I join with Barbara and with Councilmember Schaaf and McElhaney tonight in commemorating this important resolution and saluting Black Adoption Placement and Research Center for 30 years of extraordinary service. In honor of this month, I want to encourage every person who believes that they have a place for a child in their heart and their homes to explore adoption, knowing that however your children come to you, you will forever know that they are your children to cherish, love, guide, and inspire to healthy, thriving lives. Equally, I want to highlight Foster Adopt, which is how I became Robert and Giovanni's mom 2 years ago. California, as it has been stated several times already, has a significant population of foster children, and approximately 10% get adopted each year. These children need loving families, so if you have a loving home and a nurturing heart, let Adoption Awareness Month be an inspiration to take the next step in making a difference in a child's life forever. Thank you.
Well, I think everything's been said, but on behalf of the board, our executive director, and the 55,218 children who have been adopted through the Black Adoption Placement Research Center, I want to thank Councilmembers Schaaf and Gibson McElhaney for sponsoring this resolution, and I want to thank the entire council for passing this resolution this evening. And I do again want to acknowledge Gloria, because we don't pay her enough for this work, and she's been doing it for 23 years. As the resolution states, it is so very important that we focus Oakland's and our country's attention on National Adoption Awareness Month and the work that BAPRC and other agencies throughout the country have done to find permanent homes for these waiting children. Every child has gifts and talents, and every child deserves a permanent, loving, and nurturing home. And the adoptive families, some of whom are here, our lives are enriched immeasurably by these precious children. So I want to urge each of you to learn more about adoption, to contribute as much as you can to this vital work, and to consider fostering or adopting one or more of these children. They are part of our village, and they're our future. So thank you.